As in the last lecture, lecture number 15, we talked about market targeting and various patterns in which you can target a specific market. So once you've decided how to target a specific market and which markets you've targeted, it is now time for you to position your brand or the product or the service in the market. So guys, in this lecture, we're going to talk about market positioning. Now let's have a look at what Mr. Philip Kotler has to say. And this can also be accepted as one of the standard definitions of positioning. So as per Mr. Kotler, let me take a highlighter. So as per Mr. Philip Kotler, positioning is making your target audience know in which way you differ from your competitors. So whatever offering you have for the market, you have to ensure that in which way you want to differentiate your products or services from that in the market. So guys, in this lecture, you're going to understand why positioning is important. We're also going to have a look at the variables on which differentiation can be done. So placing a product in a market is one thing, and placing the product's image in the consumer's mind is another thing. I might be able to physically place a product or a service in the market so that it is available for the product for the consumers to purchase and avail. But then if the image of that particular product is not established well in the minds of the consumers, then I'm in deep trouble. So positioning is all about placing a certain image in the minds of the consumer. How do you want the consumers to perceive your product? So whenever the brand name is being called out, how do you want the consumers to react? So if on this Diwali, your parents say, okay buddy, I'm going to get you an Apple iPhone, you're going to jump with joy, right? But if somebody says, okay buddy, I'm going to get you a Xiaomi phone worth 6,000-7,000, you might not be that happy in comparison to what would have been had you been getting an Apple iPhone, right? So that's what the brand does, that's what the image of a brand does, and that is basically happening because in your mind there is a certain image being created for a specific product or a brand. So as a marketer, it is very important to position the product correctly. An excellent product but wrongly positioned will not yield the desired results. Thus positioning the product correctly is not only desired but also important. So way back around about 8 to 9 years ago, Tata Motors came up with a very innovative product called Tata Nano. You must have heard of this product called Tata Nano, and it was the world's cheapest car. And this is where the problem started. So when Tata came up with the concept of Nano, the media started highlighting that it is the world's cheapest car. And the word cheap and cheapest and the least costliest economical were being used many a times. Rather, this very specific word, the world's cheapest car, it actually stuck with the name of the brand name called Nano, and this is where the damage was done. So if you're reiterating the word cheapest, it basically gets stuck in the brains of the consumer that, oh, this is a cheap car. And the word cheap, since it is a negative word, we cannot basically build a good brand image of that particular, a very innovative idea. So Mr. Ratan Tata's the brainchild was to have a car for a middle class family, so they can be actually, they can protect themselves from the weather outside, and then they can move in convenience and comfort. This is what the dream was. So Nano was a wonderful product, but then eventually the positioning of that particular brand, the positioning of that particular product didn't go well, and this is where the problem started. Because people started perceiving it to be a very cheap car, a not value for money car, maybe a substandard product, and this is where the problem started. So if you're not able to position your product well, you're going to be in a deep trouble. It is going to be a real tough job to again re-establish a brand's image in the correct positioning. You must have seen many a times the brandings are being changed. I'll give you another example. LG is a company which is into consumer durables. You can see LG fridges, you can see LG ACs, you can see televisions from the LG brand. But then LG, when it came to India, The first time it came to India was not LG. It was named with the name of Lucky Gold Star. You must not be knowing this name. When it had to come back again into the Indian market once going away, it was important for them to have a new brand image, a new perception that people might be having for a particular product. Hence, a totally revamped branding is there. Lot many products, lot many brands to keep on reinventing their images. The logos keep on changing. Why? Because they want to keep their image intact. Rather, they want to enhance the way people actually perceive their brands and the kind of perception they build around a brand or a product. So, better positioning can be done by differentiating the market offering from other competitors. So positioning is one thing. So if I say I'm going to buy an Apple iPhone, what is coming into my mind is solely because of the kind of image that I carry with that particular product. Now the certain image I have for a particular product or a service is based on what parameters this product is different from others. So this is how we are basically trying to differentiate the offering. By saying offering, I mean both products and services as well. So now let's have a look at the differentiation factors or the different variables around which we can differentiate our offering in the market. So if the question comes, in how many ways differentiation of a product or a service or an offering can be done in a market, you can say there are 5 different ways, or the 5 different parameters, or the 5 different variables. The very first variable is product differentiation. So whatever the product is, to try and differentiate your product from the other product, the total tangible product as it. Then you can also differentiate on the basis of services offered by your brand or the product. Then you can also create a differentiation through personnel. You can also create a differentiation through channels. You can also create a differentiation through the brand image, the way you want to basically build a brand's image around the customer's mind. Let's take up them one by one. We're going to talk about the product differentiation. Let us talk about 2 different branded mobile phones, an Apple iPhone and a Micromax. Now you might not be listening or hearing of this brand name anymore because it's almost nowhere to be found. Let's talk about some other mobile phones, say maybe Xiaomi. So we are differentiating an Apple iPhone with Xiaomi. Very first thing is form. Apple iPhones are known for its sleekness, the way they are designed, the way the edges are being carved out. It's the design, the form, everything, right? So now when earlier BlackBerry and Nokia were there, they used to have a small screen with lot many buttons beneath the screen when you need to type in, right? Apple came up with an Apple iPhone 5 and things changed from there on. The entire interface basically changed. So Apple has a beautiful bar-like phone which had only one screen and you can do everything from typing to taking photographs with the help of that particular screen itself. And this is where Apple was able to differentiate their offering from Nokia and BlackBerry, and rest is history. So everybody is following that particular form factor. So form. Then talk about features. So Apple, when it came into the market, it had different features. Maybe tomorrow some other phone companies come up with different features. Maybe I'll just tell you a different thing. 6 months ago, generally mobile phones which came had only one camera, the rear camera. Now you can see there are triple camera, quadruple cameras. I don't know how many cameras are there behind the phone. So they're trying to have additional features. Now you have a pop-up selfie camera coming up now, so that's a different feature altogether, right? And you can also differentiate on the basis of performance. So now, what makes iPhone 7 Plus better than other phones? Performance. It has a latest updated Snapdragon microprocessor. It never hangs. It has highest RAM available right now in any of the phones. So the performance is there. Then there comes conformance. Now I'll give you an example with the help of an automobile industry example. Conformance. Now if all the products that you are making or offering, each one of them sticks to a certain standard. So if Suzuki makes a Hayabusa bike and it says that our bikes can go from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds flat. So this means that whatever Hayabusa bikes they're going to make, the same model, each product, each piece of motorcycle, when manufactured, will basically go from 0 to 103 seconds only, nothing less, nothing more. So all of them are conforming to a standard value. All of them will be showing the same attributes when tested. So conformance is this. So if you buy an Apple iPhone, each mobile phone designed will be having precisely the same size up to a specific micron value, and then would be of specific weight. So if this phone from OnePlus weighs 83.5 grams, each of the same products, same model should be weighing 83.5 grams. This is what conformance is. Then there is a durability attached to it. So my phone has a Gorilla screen. So if it drops, nothing's going to happen to the screen. I can say it is a durable product. Right? Toyota cars are known for their durability. Land Rovers are known for their durability. A lot of taxi owners are willing to buy Toyota cars because up to 3 lakh kilometers nothing happens to our car. We need not get any services or engine overhaulings are required because the product is durable. Then Nokia 3310 amongst the most durable phones in the history, right? So durability is there. Now since we're talking about product differentiation, so we'll be taking examples around tangible products, right? When we're talking about the service differentiation, we're going to take parameters around the services. Then comes the reliability. Now many people buy Maruti cars because they know that if it breaks down, we're going to have a service station nearby, and there is a peace of mind because it is a reliable product and I can rely on the product, and it can be, services easily available. The dealer network is available across the country, so I can rely on this particular brand. Then there is a repairability. It's easy for me to get this repaired, right? So bullet motorcycles are high on repairability, although they also break down quite often, but then they are high on repairability also, and that's why it is the first choice for people who want to do motorcycle expeditions to Ladakh and all those places. So if you're driving a bullet out there, even though if it breaks down, it is easy to repair a particular bike. Then there is styling. You might be feeling attracted to an iPhone bike because the styling is such. The way the logo is placed, the way the edges are made, the styling and the design, both things put together make a visual appeal. That's an attractive appeal. Many products follow a style or a design language. So the styling of the product is done into keeping into mind the aesthetics and the conformance to certain standards. So when you talk about Hyundai follows a design language. Majority of the upcoming cars are following a fluidic design. So that particular design language can be seen in almost all the upcoming Hyundai cars. If you talk about Lamborghini, all the cars are around a specific design language. You must have had a look. Now these two beam-like structures you'll be seeing in only BMWs, right? So all the BMW cars will be conforming to a specific design language. So you can differentiate your products with the help of a design. Just by having a look at the grill of a car, you can tell it's a BMW because it actually follows a certain design language. Then there comes service differentiation. You can differentiate your offering based on various service parameters. You can differentiate your service with the help of an ordering ease. So if you want to order a Domino's pizza, you can order it through phone. You can order it through the internet. You can order it through application also on the mobile phone. So it's very easy to get ordered. Then the delivery standards. 30 minutes or a pizza free. So Domino's is committing that if you are in a certain delivery range, your pizza will be delivered hot in flat within 30 minutes. So that's what the delivery standard is. Then certain products also come with installation services. So if you buy a Voltas air conditioner, they will ensure that your air conditioner is being installed within 24 hours of delivery. So basically they are also giving you facility of installation, right? Then there are repair and maintenance services. So whenever we go and buy an electronic product, don't we ask, do you have a service center in the city or in a locality nearby? Then you will be saying, okay sir, we have so many service centers in a city. So repair and maintenance. So many products do offer services differentiation through maintenance and repair. One good example is when you buy an RO from AquaGuard, right? So if you're buying it from AquaGuard, they will ensure that you take up an AMC contract. So this word always remember is AMC. This stands for an annual maintenance contract. So a lot of companies also take up AMCs for ACs and other gadgets. So if anything goes wrong with the filter, we're gonna take care of it. You just give us a call, the service guy would be there in half an hour. Then there are customer trainings also. So IFB is one of the very good makers of home appliances, an American brand which makes automatic washing machines and microwaves. So one of my friends gifted a microwave to his wife on a birthday, and he said that, buddy, I am not aware, I don't know how to use this, and neither does my wife know how to use it. So I suggested him, why don't you call the customer care people? He called up the customer care and fixed up a customer training. In fact, when I was at the ICICI Bank, we used to cross-sell the ICICI Direct Demat accounts, right? So if you have heard of this ICICI Direct, so that's a brokerage account being given you to trade shares in mutual funds. So if you get an account, a Demat account opened through ICICI Direct, you get a trading account opened through ICICI Direct, they will help you to understand how to use that trading account to buy and sell shares. Then there is customer consulting also. Let's take up another example, Asian Paints. So if in the coming festive season you want to get your house painted from the exterior, from the interior, and you're confused what colors, what textures to put in, you just call them. They click photographs of your house, and then in a few days they'll come back to you with certain designs, some color schemes. They will suggest, okay, on the facade, on the front, we're going to paint it like this, and from inside we're going to paint it like this, and this wall is going to look like this. So they are basically giving you, not only they are helping you, but they are also giving you consultancy services, so to help you to make a decision. So these are all the differentiating factors that can come. Then there are some miscellaneous service differentiation factors also. A lot of automobile manufacturers are offering buyback. So use our car for 5 years, and if you don't get a good value, we're going to give good value to our car. You must have seen on Flipkart and Amazon. So if you want to buy a OnePlus phone, if you want to buy OnePlus 70, and if you're already having a OnePlus 5 or OnePlus 6, you can get exchange. So exchange or buyback plans are also there. It's actually a part of service differentiation. What next? Then there is personnel differentiation. You're differentiating your offering on the basis of your personnel in your company, or the product or the services aligned with them. So if I am into a hotel industry, I am running a 5-star hotel, or for that matter, if I am into banking. So banks basically differentiate on personal values. You must be seeing that a very crowded bank, sometimes when you go there, you find it difficult to get your job done. Whereas a newly opened private sector bank, you go in there and you'll be greeted well by the staff over there, and they get your work done in ease. So many a time you'll find a competent staff. So generally high up, if you see, if you go with 5-star hotels like the Taj chain, the Oberoi's, the staff is highly competent. They know how to handle your problems, how to handle your queries. They are courteous, they are credible. So if they are committing, okay sir, I promise that a cab will come and pick you from the airport at 6 in the evening. So they will ensure that since it is a Taj and it is known by the brand image, you can be just assured that somebody is going to pick you up from the airport. Then there is a reliability attached to a specific person, right? So if I am opting for services from a certain group or a certain company, I can rely on their services, right? Uber ensures that you get a cab. So I'll just give you an example. Most of the times when I land up on an airport or on a station and I book an Uber, and many a time it happens that you book a certain cab and then the cab guy cancels the ride. Then Uber makes it sure that within the next 3 or 4 minutes you're going to map to another driver. So say if I have been mapped to a driver A, and with some reason if he rejects the ride, then I'll be automatically mapped to driver B. Nothing has to be done from my side because the reliability factor is there. Then there is responsiveness. In how many seconds, in what time do I get a response from the people out there, right? So responsiveness is there. So if I call up a customer care cell and he keeps my call on wait, so that it's not responsive at all. But many places, if I give a call, they will make sure that your call will be answered within 1 minute by the customer care people. So that's what we're talking about, responsiveness. And lastly, we also have communication. So my wife often goes to the pantaloon store nearby, and she's one of the frequent customers over there. So what they do is whenever they're coming up with festival offers or any new collection, she'll get an invitation card at her place. This is how they communicate. So this is basically the personal touch that they get through the communication, right? So that's it. So organizations in service industry depend heavily on personnel differentiation. So service differentiation and personal differentiation are the key factors around which service industry thrives and differentiates their offerings from the competitors. What next? Then there is channel differentiation. A lot of companies, e-commerce websites for that matter, which are heavily dependent on logistics business, will be basically be able to differentiate their services. So you talk about Amazon, say versus Snapdeal. Now Amazon has worked a hell lot with their delivery channel partners. So kind of coverage Amazon has, Snapdeal might not be. So somewhere in Northeast, customer wants to order something, Amazon might still be able to deliver the product, whereas Snapdeal might not. So the coverage is there. Amazon also has an expertise that any product that you offer will be delivered to you within 7 days. Then there is performance related issues also, that whatever way the things are going to get delivered, they're going to be done with top-notch quality. Majority of times you must have heard on the news channels or in the newspapers that many people are getting broken products when they order it online. But then if this thing is taken care of, performance is the key indicator over here. So based on these things, you can differentiate your offering. Now we're moving towards the last factor, which is the image differentiation. So number one is the symbols. So if you're driving on a highway and you get to see those golden arches, you can be rest assured that there's a burger joint nearby and you can have a good burger and a Coke with fries over there. That's what it does. So just have a look at symbol and you know McDonald's is there. On highways, these symbols are placed very prominently. You must have seen on a big pole, you have a McDonald's logo or a Pizza Hut logo, or for that matter, Indian Oil logo also. For you to tell, okay, fine, far away, 700-800 meters from here, you will get a petrol pump. So symbols are very important. Then there is an atmosphere differentiation also. So if I go to a Bikaner Wala outlet, the ambience is altogether different, and if I go to a cafe coffee day outlet, the ambience changes completely. If I go to the Bikaner outlet, it is lighted, well lit. You can smell chola bhaturas also, you can smell chowmin also, you can see people eating multiple cuisines. Maybe if you go in the right time, you can smell jalebis also out there. But then if you go into a cafe coffee day shop, you're gonna smell some aromatic coffee, right? So that's what the difference is.